Hello, and welcome to Lamplighter. Today is February 22. Today in our reading, we continue to read the specifics of the law that was given to Moses by God on top of Mount Sinai. We're familiar with Moses being given the Ten Commandments and the instructions for building the tabernacle while up on the mountain, but Moses is also given some very detailed instructions about law and law keeping while he is up on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights with God. So, as we've been working our way through the rendering of the law and how it's explained to the people, yesterday and today we're talking specifically about offerings made to God as required by this law. Now, we mentioned yesterday that there are 5 major offerings that are covered by the law. The first that we talked about yesterday was the burnt offering, which is an offering that is to be completely consumed. We also talked about cereal or grain offerings. But as we continue the reading today, we begin with talking about what is either called a peace offering or a fellowship offering. These terms are used interchangeably about this offering, and it makes sense because basically this is an offering to continue to establish peace between man and God, or to continue to feed that fellowship between man and God. So whether it be a peace offering or a fellowship offering, in whatever translation you read the Bible, it is still the same offering being described. Now, this is the offering that can be eaten by the priests and offered to God at the same time. A portion of it is burned and a portion of it is eaten. Now, if it is a required fellowship offering or peace offering, then the priests eat part of it and they burn the rest of it in the offering to God. If it is not required, if it is a free will offering as a statement of thanksgiving or praise that a person wants to offer God, then the worshiper also participates in the eating. Part of the offering is burned in the offering to God, but the other portion is eaten by both the priests and the worshiper if it is a free will offering. So you see, there are some pretty specific details about how to make this offering pleasing to God. And then you run into that phrase again, an aroma pleasing to the Lord. That's the goal for every offering that is made through this section. It's offered to God in a way that it comes up before Him as an aroma, a sweet smelling aroma that is pleasing to the Lord. Now, in order for this to be a sweet smelling aroma, no defective animals can be used ever. It has to be the best one has. There is to be no eating of the fat and no eating of the blood, and it must be eaten on the same day that the offering is actually made. Even when it's a free will offering, when it's not required by the law per se, everything has to be detailed and done exactly right in order for this to be an offering that's pleasing to God. If there's a person who's not clean, for whatever reason, who is unclean before the Lord, if he participates in this fellowship offering or this peace offering by eating part of it, his punishment is severe. He is to be cut off from the people. And this offering can only be made at the tabernacle. It can't be done on a whim. It can't be done just wherever the worshiper feels like doing it. God is trying to avoid this idea that God or gods can be worshiped anytime, anywhere, any way one wants to. That's the way it's going to be in the land of Canaan, the way the people there think. God is going to say, I am not like that. I require a specific kind of offering to be made in a specific kind of way at a specific place, that being the tabernacle, and by specific people, that being the priests. So God is once again distinguishing Himself and His people from the nations around them. We also read here today about the sin offerings. Sin offerings given for sins of omission, things that one fails to do, or sins of commission, sins that are actively committed, something that someone has done that is wrong. But in both cases, these are sins about which the sinner is unaware. These are unintentional sins. But even though they're unintentional and they may not be aware of the sin, It's the old adage, ignorance of the law is no excuse. God has a plan to cover the sin, even if it's committed ignorantly or without knowledge. Now, if the priest sins, we're told, his sin brings guilt upon all the people because he's the representative of the people to God and the representative of God to the people. So the priest must make atonement, and when the priest's sin is atoned for, then the guilt of the people is removed. And this is an aroma that's pleasing to the Lord. Now, even though it may be an unintentional sin, that sin must still be remedied. Allowances are made here for the people who are poor that may not have the kind of animals or access to the animals that is required. And so God makes sure that everyone has the opportunity, no matter what their financial status or standing, to be able to please him in keeping of the laws. The same laws apply even to those who are not native born, those who are aliens among the people. Even they have to keep these specific laws with these specific offerings. Now, there are no allowances made here for intentional sin. That's something that we'll talk about at a later time. So for today, we've looked mainly at the fellowship or the peace offerings and the sin offerings for the people. As we continue in our study tomorrow, we'll look at the final one of these 5 main offerings, along with some general ideas about offerings to come. Isn't it great to be a lamplighter? His word is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. I hope you have a blessed day.